Lesson 4-5, dividing decimals by whole numbers. And in this lesson, you learn to divide decimals by whole numbers. When am I ever going to use this? Knowing how to divide a decimal by a whole number can help you find your share of a group purchase. Good example would be probably when a group of you eat in a restaurant and only one person pays the bill. Okay, in order for you to be able to find out how much your share is, okay, you need to be able to know this particular skill. Okay, let's take a look at this example. A package that included inline skates, a helmet, and pads was on sale for $119.50. Josh didn't have enough money to pay for them, so in order to get the sale price, he put them on layaway. The store's layaway policy requires one payment now and a payment equal to that each week for 4 weeks. So how much will he pay each time? So if you haven't done any, if you don't know what layaway is, it's a system by which a store keeps the item that you're interested in until you can fully pay for it. Okay, you probably pay for it for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, with the same amount until it's fully paid, and then you can have the item. So they put it away for you until it's fully paid, and you get the item after that. Okay, so in this case, you need to divide $119.50 by 5 because you need to divide your payment into you need to divide your payment 5 times into 5 weeks. Okay, so when dividing, we need to first estimate 100 divided by 5, 119. Be close enough to 5. Divided by 5 is around 20. Answer should be close enough to 20. So when dividing a decimal by a whole number, place a decimal point in the quotient directly above the decimal point in the dividend, then divide as you do with whole numbers. Okay, a little bit of a review. Okay, so when you talk about 100 divided by 5, 100 is your dividend. Okay, so this is your dividend right here. Pull that out. Okay, and this is your divisor. Okay, and if you want to put it in a division symbol, oh, that's not okay. So if you want to put it in division symbol, your dividend goes inside the house, your divisor goes outside. Okay, I can let's make it better. Okay, so your dividend goes inside the house, and your divisor goes out. And your dividend is that one, and this is your divisor. So the first number in division in this division expression is your dividend. The second number is your divisor. Okay, so when dividing a decimal by a whole number, place a decimal point in the quotient directly above the decimal point in the dividend, then divide as you do as with whole numbers. Okay, so let's take a look at how this is done when you're dividing 119 by 5. Okay, oopsie, nope, 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 sorry about that. Oh my goodness, close that again, close that again. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is put 119.5 inside the house. The divisor is 5. Okay, and divide as if with whole numbers. It says here put the decimal point in the quotient directly above the decimal point. So if you notice, this is the decimal point. You put it directly above, and then you simply divide them as if they're whole numbers. Okay. So we first check if 5 goes into 1, it does not. It goes into 10 2 times. Okay, 2 times 5 equals 10. Then you subtract. The difference would be 1. And then you bring down the 9. Okay, how many 5s go into 19? That would be 3. Then that's would be 15. Subtract that again. The difference would be 4. And bring down is 5. Okay, how many 5 is going to 45? That would be 9, 0. Okay, and if you notice, okay, how many 5 is going to 0? That would be 0, and so on and so forth. So it would be 23.90. And the reason why we added a 0 is because we are dealing with cents. Okay, so the answer would be 23.90. He needs to pay $23.90. He needs to pay $23.90 each week. Okay. Checking this answer against the estimate, the answer is reasonable. Okay. Let's take a look at the next example, or actually, let's take a look at the first example. First example, divide each quotient, 29.8 divided by 2. Again, we first estimate like we always do. This is close to 30, and we leave 2 as is. So we estimate 30 divided by 2, that would be 15. So our answer should be close to 15. Okay, and this one is our dividend, this is our divisor. So the 29.8 goes into the house, 2 goes outside. Okay, like so. And we divide as if they're whole numbers. Before we do that, we put decimal point on top, directly above the dividend decimal point, and divide as if they're whole numbers. Okay, you end up with 14.9. Okay, and to check our answer, we simply get 14.9, multiply it by the divisor, end up with you end up with 29.8. So 29.8 divided by 2 is equal to 14.9. And it basically shows us that the estimate is close enough. Our answer is reasonable. Okay. Next problem, 8.58 divided by 12. Again, we go back and we estimate. Okay. Estimate 10 divided by 10 because 8.5 is close enough to 10. 12 is close enough to 10. And they're compatible to each other, and that's the reason why we didn't do 9 divided by 12. Okay, so our estimate should be close to 1. Okay, and we do our division, put 8.58 inside the house, and then we put 12 outside the house, bring that decimal point up, and divide normally. So how many 12s are going to 85? Okay, we know that there's 7 12s that go into 85. 7 times 12 will give you 84. Subtract that. Okay, and you end up with 1, bring down the 8. How many 12s go to 18? That would be 1. 12, subtract that, end up with the 6, bring down the 6. Okay, and 5 12s go into 60. So the answer would be 0.17. Okay, 0.17. So 8.58 divided by 12 is 0.715. Did I say 0.017? It's 0.715, I'm sorry. So the estimate is close enough. The answer is pretty reasonable. Okay? And the last example. And let's take a look at this one. Usually when you divide decimals with the answer with the decimals, the answer does not come out even. You need to round the quotient to a specified place value position. Always divide to one more place value position than the place to which you are rounding. And this is important when we are trying to find an answer. Always divide to one more place value position than the place to which you are rounding. Okay, let's say it's asking round the answer to the nearest 100. That means you need to divide all the way to the thousands place so that you can round it to the nearest 100. Okay, now let's take a look at example number 3 and see how that works. Katie and 5 of her friends bought a 6-pack of fruit juice after their soccer game. Each friend wants to pay for her share. If the 6-pack costs $3.29, how much does each friend owe to the nearest cent? When you talk about the nearest cent means the nearest cent is actually the nearest hundredths place. Okay. So when they say the nearest cent, you're rounding to the nearest hundredths place. In some problems, they're going to ask you to the asking to the nearest dollar. So when they say round to the nearest dollar means rounded to the ones place. Okay? So that's a good tip right there. So let's find out. So we want to get $3.29 and divided by 6 because there are 6 of them, Katie included, of course. So estimate first $3 divided by 6. The answer should be around 50 cents. Place the decimal point first, estimate. Okay, there you go. Place the decimal point, put it above decimal point in the dividend over 3.290 and divide as if they're whole numbers. Divide to the thousandths place, okay, all the way to the 8 because you want to round to the nearest hundredths place. Okay, and to be able to round to the nearest hundredths place, you need to be able to divide all the way to the thousandths place. So you can round to the hundredths place. So you stop when you reach the thousandths place. Now you can write around 0.548 to become 0.54. That is the nearest cent. So in this case, Katie and her 5 friends cannot pay obviously 0.458 because there's no such thing as an 8 in cents. We round 0.548 to the nearest cent, which is 55 cents. Each person owes 55 cents. The estimate shows that the answer is reasonable because the estimate is 50 cents. And that's the end of the lesson. On Google Forms or My Big Campus, type a summary of what you've learned by responding to the objective of the lesson. Type of question you may want to ask in class. Thank you.